wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
$2 million. That is what Erika Kirk was reportedly worth before a bullet changed everything. Then her husband Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And in the months that followed, the number started climbing. Fast. 10 million. 12 million. 20 million. And some reports say she inherited control of a conservative empire worth $100 million. From 2 million to 20 million in less than a year. Without launching a startup. Without winning the lottery. Without a hit TV show or a viral product. Just grief. And inheritance. And a CEO title that landed in her lap at one of the most powerful organizations in conservative America. Today on the Marquee Report, we are breaking down exactly where Erika Kirk's money comes from, how much she is actually worth, whether she is richer than the Vice President of the United States, and what all of these numbers really tell us about the empire Charlie Kirk left behind. Let's get into it. Before we talk about what Erika inherited, we need to talk about what Charlie Kirk actually built. Because a $100 million empire does not appear out of nowhere. Charlie Kirk founded Turning Point USA in 2012 when he was just 18 years old. What started as a small campus conservative organization grew into one of the most powerful and well-funded right-wing organizations in America. By the time of his assassination in September 2025, TPUSA had chapters on hundreds of college campuses across the country, a massive media operation, sold-out conferences drawing thousands of attendees, and a donor network that included some of the wealthiest conservatives in America. Charlie himself was pulling in a salary of nearly $400,000 a year from TPUSA alone. His reported earnings from June 2023 to June 2024 were $390,493, and that does not even account for his podcast revenue, book deals, speaking fees, and media appearances. This was a man who had turned political commentary into a serious business operation. And then, on September 10, 2025, he was shot and killed while giving a speech at Utah Valley University. And everything he built passed to the woman standing beside him. Here is something that gets lost in all the noise around Erika Kirk. Before Charlie's death, she was not exactly a financial powerhouse in her own right. Ahead of Charlie Kirk's death, Erika Kirk's net worth was reported to be around $2 million by NewsNation. $2 million. Which, yes, is more than most people will ever have, but in the world of political media empires and conservative megadonors, it is a modest number. She had her own ventures. She won the Miss Arizona USA pageant in 2012, she launched Proclaim Streetwear in 2018, an apparel brand rooted in Christian values, and she had been building a public profile alongside her husband's growing platform. But $2 million was her number going into September 2025. Then everything changed overnight. So how does someone go from 2 million to 20 million in less than a year? Let's break it down, because this is not just one big payday. It is multiple streams that all hit at once. By the end of 2025, after Kirk's assassination in September, Celebrity Net Worth estimated Erika Kirk's fortune to be $12 million, which was later updated by Grok to $20 million. This report comes after she inherited a $100 million conservative empire after Kirk's death, along with business holdings and insurance money. Here is how those numbers stack up. First, life insurance. Grok reported that Erika received an estimated $10 million in life insurance payouts following Charlie's death. That alone nearly quintuples her previous net worth in a single transaction. Second, donations. An estimated $10 million in donations flowed in following Charlie Kirk's assassination. When a prominent political figure is killed, their supporters open their wallets. And Charlie Kirk had a lot of supporters. Third, real estate. Approximately $2 million came from a home sale. Property, liquidated and converted to cash. And then there is the ongoing income. Erika Kirk became CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point USA and started earning the same or somewhat higher than her husband's $390,493 salary. So on top of everything she inherited, she is now pulling in close to $400,000 a year in salary alone. Plus book royalties from Charlie's catalog. Plus media income from her growing public presence. Plus the revenue streams from her own businesses. Add it all up and you start to see how 20 million becomes a conservative, pun intended, estimate. Now here is where things get more complicated and more interesting. The headline number floating around is that Erika inherited a $100 million empire. But what does that actually mean? Because there is a difference between controlling a $100 million organization and personally pocketing $100 million. Turning Point USA is a nonprofit organization. That means its assets, its buildings, its media equipment, its cash reserves, its donor relationships, do not simply transfer into Erika Kirk's personal bank account just because she became CEO. She runs the empire. She leads it. She has enormous influence over how its resources are spent. But controlling a nonprofit and personally owning its assets are two very different things legally. What she does own personally, the insurance money, the donations made directly to her family, the real estate proceeds, her salary, her own business ventures, that is what gets you to the $20 million personal net worth estimate. The $100 million empire is the kingdom she rules. The $20 million is what is actually hers. That distinction matters. And it is one that a lot of the coverage around this story tends to blur. Now here is the detail that sent the internet into an absolute spiral, because apparently people cannot resist comparing net worths of people who are tangentially connected to each other. After her husband's death, as Kirk's net worth shot to an estimated $20 million, her fortune appeared significantly more than Vice President JD Vance's $12 million estimated net worth, as reported by Forbes. So according to these estimates, Erika Kirk is worth more than the Vice President of the United States. The widow of a conservative commentator is wealthier than the second most powerful person in the American government. Now, why are people comparing these two specifically? Because Erika Kirk made headlines for a moment at a Turning Point USA event at the University of Mississippi, where she appeared cupping the back of JD Vance's head and running her fingers over his hair. This brief but personal gesture instantly ignited the internet, and people started wondering if a scandal was brewing in MAGA circles. Nothing has been confirmed. No scandal materialized. But once the internet started comparing them, the net worth conversation followed naturally. And the result is a number that surprises a lot of people. 20 million versus 12 million. Erika Kirk richer than JD Vance. On paper, at least. Here is what I find genuinely interesting about Erika Kirk's financial story. It is not just about what she inherited. It is about what she is actively building on top of it. Beyond politics, the 37-year-old has expanded into real estate through the Corcoran Group. She has also launched the nonprofit Everyday Heroes Like You and founded the faith-based project BIB Align 365, an initiative designed to encourage people to engage with Scripture daily. So she is not just sitting on inherited wealth. She is diversifying. Real estate. Nonprofits. Faith-based digital projects. A CEO title at one of the most visible conservative organizations in America. And all of this while simultaneously being one of the most talked about, most scrutinized, most memed figures on the entire internet. Whether you see that as inspiring or opportunistic depends entirely on where you stand politically. But the numbers tell a clear story. Erika Kirk entered 2025 as a relatively private figure with a $2 million net worth. She is ending it as a $20 million CEO running a $100 million organization with her name in headlines every single week. $2 million to $20 million. $100 million empire. A salary bigger than most people will earn in a lifetime. And a public profile that shows absolutely no sign of shrinking. Whatever you think of Erika Kirk, the financial story of what happened after Charlie Kirk's assassination is one of the most remarkable wealth transformations in recent political history. And it is far from over. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Does this change how you see Erika Kirk? Hit subscribe if you are new here. And I will see you at the Marquee.